The punches. So from here, we said heavy elbow, good. Target, I was good. One interesting thing Stephen talked about, the arm, is first, how do we have it so we can extend the arm without using force? Mechanically, what's the best way to extend Des's arm without using force? So he has to come from there to here, right? We got one joint there, one joint there, one joint there, right? We got two bones. Let's say let's do here, but let's say we've got two bones, and we got, in terms of mechanics, what's the most efficient way for him to move forward? Straight line. The path has to be a straight line, yes. But in terms, if this was two sticks, three balls.
Elbow.
But you know the answer. No, but yeah, he's right. I'm joking, of course. Yeah, so he's been in Hong Kong many times. So yes, elbow up, which is not what I thought at all. Because you want to hit hard, you want to drop it down, heavy elbow, and then you want to throw that bomb out, right? And we go like this, and we go like that. And if Des does that, so if Des goes heavy elbow and then drives through shoulder, elbow, wrist, which in terms of alignment is quite a good thing to do, right? As he drives forward, he'll have force this way, but what if I clamp him down like that? If you try to move forward, impossible for him to move it, because he's actually pushing into my clamp. I'm actually helping him with this arm by pulling, right? But I'm restricting by pushing. So I'm through locking up, holding up, locking up that joint, no matter how heavy his elbow is, how he wants to move forward, I'll be able to stop him. However, if he doesn't use any foot, so thinks upright in the spine, shoulders nice and relaxed, if he thinks about, if you let me move your arm for you, if you completely let me move your arm, yeah. If I'm moving this is free to move, right? This is like a hinge. Yeah, so this is coming out, this is like a hinge. As long as the shoulder doesn't go back, as long as my force, when he hinges, as long as my force doesn't go back to the shoulder, it means he has to come out here. But you're not even thinking about alignment. In fact, you're thinking opposite to, you think about underlining. If we have like a folding chair, right? If we have like these two bottles there, let's say, imagine those bottles, but if you have two bottles, right, so like this, okay, and then there's the elbow joint there, it's actually this way, so it can come up there, right? Instead of going shoulder to elbow, pushing through to the wrist, then you're thinking about it like that. So if we have a perfect stance and we have shoulders relaxed, means the shoulder won't go backwards, right? That's equivalent to, let's say, using the wall. So this is a perfect stance, the wall, right? As perfect as you can get. If it's like this, and the person is holding the wrist there, stopping us from expanding. If we try to push this to this and push that to that, the force is a lot less than if you simply move this down. As long as that doesn't give, this has to come out. Does that make sense? Yeah. And you'll be amazed that you won't be able to move someone. Like maybe even you'll be stoppable by something if you cramp the arm down. Whereas as soon as you ignore, you actually work opposite to alignment, think elbow up, the person goes flying. The hard part is when we think about the target, when we think about hitting the target, we automatically, before we hit, that's why you see something like Bruce Lee, right? Used to go like this. He's already thinking about it. No one does it on one leg with the arm straight, only Sifu. Not even Sifu Jim did that, right? He would still use, it was very good. His one-inch punch was what made me join Wing Chun. It's very, very good, very explosive. You too, yeah. He was a tank. I'm not taking that away from him, but it was different to what Sifu was doing. So from here, thinking about the elbow coming up rather than that way, thinking about the elbow coming up so sometimes this will happen. And you can see, where's the force bouncing to now? Backwards, right? So it will go like that, it bounces back. It is equivalent to pushing. Whereas as long as this stage is on, so this is upright, that's all relaxing down, as long as that comes up, then you get that kind of penetrative kind of force rather than a pushing force. So what Bruce Lee used to do was very good, but it was more pushing rather than making it hurt. So we've seen when we used to hold this bag, the ones that have been there, was a very hard bag. People kick it and they go crying because it's very hard. It was just like a BB gun and it's in there. So it was good for conditioning. But so you will hold the bag and you'll stand behind the bag and you'll get, let's say, me to punch, and someone's hugging the bag and holding strong. I'll be able to move, but that was still a push. And to demonstrate that he would get me to do it or Sam to do it or someone like that. But then he will come behind and he'll stand like this and we'll do that, and I'll be at the end of it. You actually feel the straight line coming through the bag to your chest. You get the same effect. Whereas for the rest of us, we could move people, but it's a push. You can't penetrate inwards. And that he would say is because we're somehow thinking about aligning. We're thinking about, I'm going to punch like that to get it, to hook it under, to get that feedback, right? Whereas if you're hooking it under and going like this, of course you're going to fall back. But if you're doing it this way, it's all expansive as long as you're in that step. Let's have a play with this. So let's hold like this one pulling, this one pushing. Don't let the person move. What you want to do is think about elbow coming up and the path of the wrist going in a straight line. If you can understand this, then every forward movement in Silam Tao is covered, all palm strikes, all chi xiaos, all of these, and actually every backwards movement is covered as well. Because coming backwards, the most efficient is the opposite, right? So instead of Des pulling back, like that, along that line, or thinking even shoulder, elbow, wrist pulling back this way, like that, if he thinks this is going to go in a straight line, with that, we've learned this in the academy, right? The multi-vector forces, that's coming straight back, but elbow drops straight down. As a result, that's not a pull. It's mechanically working like this. The punches shouldn't look like that. The punches should look like this, kind of coming back. Okay. Actually, it's very powerful with no effort. All right, let's have a quick play.